All right, there, guys. How's everybody doing? Welcome back to another episode of the Liverpool Transfer Daily, the thing that we started off in the small transfer window, shall we say, beginning of June and stuff like that. So we're going to be talking about a few things on today's show. We've got some Kerkez stuff. I kind of thought that point would have been announced by now, in all fairness. Got some stuff regarding Nunez, Gahey, and then there's an article as well we can go through as well. And that'll pretty much be us for today, guys. But thanks for joining. Hope you all enjoy the show. Hit that like button. We are obviously in partnership with Number 19 Apparel Co. as well. And Sean's got one of their shirts on right there. So, anything from you, Sean, before we get going?
No, this is just a classic T-shirt, by the way. This is basically from when Leeds had sent us a T-shirt or left T-shirts in our changing room when we're up against them, and it was after the announcement of the failed attempt for the Super League. So rather clever enough, Number 19 Apparel Co. ordered one of these from them, and it's beautiful. I've had this for years, and it's still brand fucking new. So yeah, everything okay with me. Hello Carl, hello Jen, hello Scott.
Hope you're all doing well, guys. Make sure you're hitting that like button. JT's with us as well.
JT.
We must have over 100 people watching us over on X as well. So hit that like button, guys. Come over and join us over on YouTube. So let's start then, shall we? So I guess the one that I want to talk about first is this Fabrizio Romano stuff that came out this morning, where he basically confirmed that Kerkez was done. I'll just share my screen with you all now, so you can all see. So yeah, this is what Romano put out 7 hours ago. So 12 o'clock today. He said that basically Kerkez can now be considered as a Liverpool player. The deal is signed from club to club also. Medical completed, contract sealed, with the left back joining Liverpool for 40 million. Here we go, confirmed, official statement next. So I guess, what's the hold up, eh?
Here we go. I don't know what the hold up is. Maybe I don't know. Who cares? I mean, once he's officially a Liverpool player, I don't care how it's done. Once he's fully fit and ready to go and ready to prove to Liverpool and the fans that he's loyal and he'll fight for this club. That's it. That's all I care about.
I wonder if we're waiting until Friday. Everything seems to happen on a Friday, doesn't it? But
I don't know. It doesn't have the same ring, though, does it? I mean,
no.
You could do Florian Friday or Verts Wednesday. We had Frimpong Friday, so yeah, Millis Monday.
Bit late for that.
I know, a bit late for that, but we might string it out a bit, and
So Romano also as well. Just moving on, then I guess Kerkez is coming in. I reckon he's going to be a good left back. Spoke about yesterday regarding I won't be surprised if Robbo and Kerkez both get sold, and then we stick with Owen Beck and Kerkez at left back. So we'll have to wait and see.
It's a good shout. I think that the Doug has come out with Twerkez Tuesday. You should copyright that, Doug. You should copyright that. That's going on. It'll drop it like it's hot, Jen, hopefully sometime soon. But I mean, it's great to get the deals done before the pre-season. Hopefully there'll be more before the pre-season starts, just so that they can gel with the rest of the squad rather than come in at the last minute and are meant to hit the ground running. So
I won't be surprised if we don't see any incomings now for a bit. We might just focus on people going out, and which ties into like the next one that I want to talk about, which is this Darwin Nunez situation. So again, we're going back to Fabrizio Romano, and he put this out earlier on today saying that he understands that Napoli and Liverpool will have direct contacts today to discuss the conditions of the Nunez deal. Negotiations still at an early stage, but Napoli have been given the green light from Nunez, as revealed in recent days, and the deal depends on the financial request. So I guess, you know, Nunez is obviously on his way. But what do you reckon? Do you reckon how much do you reckon Liverpool could get for him?
Well, first of all, Rick Roach, welcome to the channel. Evening all. I've not been able to join to work here in the Middle East, especially now. Thanks for the daily update. Much appreciated. Thank you, Rick, and you're very welcome to the channel. Make sure that you like, share, and if you want to join our VIP membership, it is from $1.99 to $2.99 per month, and you're in with an opportunity of winning a t-shirt of your choice from number 19 Apparel Co. With regards to Darwin Nunez, if he goes for any less than 60 million, you can then rubbish any rumors or any talk of the Saudis going in for him in January. And just remember who brought that up and who reported that the Saudis were going for him. I don't think that's utter bullshit.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that, Rick Roach, mate. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate you, mate, for that. Carl, as well, as I remember, I've always said thank you to you on the message as well, but Carl also left me a super thanks on the video I did earlier on today as well. So I appreciate that, mate, as well. Thank you for that, mate.
Thank you, Carl.
Yeah, I agree with what Carl said there actually as well when I was showing his message. He thinks we take a hit on Nunez. I do too. You know, we've said it a few times. 45 million, I reckon, gets the deal done. Any more than that, and I think we've absolutely, you know, Edwards has had another blinder again. Or Richard Hughes, sorry, should I say? But yeah,
tally ho, Gary.
Evening, Gary, mate. Hope you're well. So yeah, sticking with the Nunez though, there's another thing I wanted to show you as well, which is from another Uruguayan player, I think, actually as well, where he says this. So a former Uruguay Napoli player, Walter Gargon, is that how you say his name? Gargano. So he said anyway that he's heard that Darwin Nunez said, yes, I'm coming to Naples. I'm waiting to sign. I talked to Nunez on the phone and he will decide with his family, as De Bruyne did. He told me he wants to come right away. He's waiting to sign with Napoli. So again, it literally looks like we're going to see Darwin over in Naples. With De Bruyne behind him as well. Like, you know, could Kevin De Bruyne do a bit more for him than, you know, it could do over here?
Well, first of all, it's very unusual for a player to come out and say that. Yeah, I'm not too sure whether does he play for Naples as well?
He used to play for Naples, and he's a Uruguayan as well.
Yeah, well, maybe Darwin wouldn't be too impressed with that. But look, I mean, if we can get the deal done and dusted well enough. But yeah, it leads me to the other question is that are we going to bring in a number 9?
Well, in that thing from The Athletic today, it didn't sound like it was defo going to happen. I mean, they said that because now he's signed Verts, he can play false 9 or whatever.
Well, it was like a rap battle between Ornstein and Pierce. I think Pierce said that, you know, we are looking at a number 9, and Ornstein said we're not. So,
well, I won't say he didn't say we weren't. I think he was just like, it's a certain player that Slot wants, and if he can't find that player, then he won't sign one. Basically, I think that's what Ornstein said. But I don't think he just said it's not like on the list type thing anyway. Scott said, I don't think we get 40 to 50 for Nunez. If we get 40 for Nunez, I would take the hit. And Jen's asking, whose doggy is that? It's Shauno's.
That's Marley. Milo's the quiet one. So Marley's the big one. He doesn't shut up. Love the two of them, but he does not shut up.
Again, sticking with the Nunez stuff, we've got somebody else talking about it now as well. Our friend who, you know, Florian Wirtz called out, Florian Plettenberg, has said that Liverpool feel that Napoli have a good chance of signing Nunez. The player tends to prefer to stay in Europe. Talks between the clubs have started. Liverpool will not stand in his way should he leave, and they shouldn't. He goes on to say as well that Liverpool do have a serious interest in Ekitike and still see themselves having a very good chance in the race for the French striker. But United and Chelsea are still there. A sale of Nunez is important for the next step. So I think what he's saying there is that Liverpool need to move on from Nunez first before they actually buy anybody else, which I don't think is a surprise to pretty much anybody, really. I think Ekitike for me is decent, but I think he probably is the backup. I think he's a backup for me, backup option. I don't think he's like the first player they're going to go for and everything like that, but I could be wrong there. What are your thoughts on that, Sean?
Well, I think if you're going to spend that amount of money on a backup, you're going to have trouble, within the team. Although every player that comes in should not, feel that they're guaranteed first team football. They've got to fight for their position on the pitch. But I don't know. I mean, is he worth over 100 million?
Probably not. No, I think it was Scott yesterday that said it. That the transfer market right now is it's not a good one for strikers because they're not really like outstanding, but they're really, really expensive as well. But I don't know, man. Like, I'd happily pay over 100 million for Isaac, but I don't think I'd be anywhere near that number for Ekitike. But
I don't know.
Rick says here, will outgoings more than anything else dictate if we get a 9? I think it depends on what money we've got to play with for a 9. Like, I think if we sold Nunez and Diaz, I think that opens the door for potentially getting in someone like an Isaac or someone like that. But if we just sell Nunez, then maybe we have to go for someone a little bit cheaper. If we do it all.
I think that's a good question, Rick, and I think it really depends on what way they look at it. I mean, is selling Nunez a way of recouping the money that they've already spent? I don't know. But myself personally, I would look at whatever you can get for Nunez, and if we can overcharge Naples or whoever the fuck wants to go for him, try and get as much money as possible, and then try and bring in maybe 1 or 2 players. But Ekitike, to me, is... I mean, I know that, there's no cheap option for a striker, so maybe we're just going to have to take the hit and go for it.
I agree, mate, with that. I agree. Rick as well says again here, he keeps hearing the Hugo guy is just waiting for us, but it's just what he reads over there. Yeah, I think that's been the same reported over here, mate. But, there was... Allegedly, Chelsea wanted to get him before the Club World Cup, and then they got Liam Delap, and then obviously there's been no movement on him. I wonder if everybody's in the same boat regarding Ekitike, and they're all kind of like good player. We'd take him, but we're not paying 100 million for him. You know what I mean? I wonder if everyone's like kind of in the same ballpark with that, and that's what's the hold up really regarding that. Scott says here, it's crazy, mate, the value for money on some of the strikers. I agree, I'd pay for Isaac, but that's about it, to be honest. Yeah. One player no one has really been linked with is Osherman, who has a decent release clause. Yeah, I think did we cover that yesterday? It went like 68 million or something like that for Osherman. Don't get me wrong, I think Victor Osherman probably is maybe better than Isaac. Similar age profile, maybe a little bit older, but he's got to be his wages for me. His wages must be like astronomical or something, because I don't understand why nobody snapped him up. Do you know what I mean? I really don't. Jen likes Osherman. Carl, I honestly think Nunez will shine at his new club when he moves. He's just not a Liverpool player. Yeah, mate, I agree with that as well. I think I said this yesterday. I think Nunez will tear it up in Syria. I really do. Or La Liga. He'll definitely rip it up in Saudi Pro League. It'd be interesting
I'd rip it up in the Saudi League.
I wonder if once he's left, he'll actually speak a bit freely about it, and maybe there's more going on behind the scenes, and I'm not saying it's anything along the same levels as what happened with Torres, but obviously when Torres left, everyone was on his case, and it wasn't until a couple of years later that we actually found out the reason why he left is because he was lied to and everything like that. I mean, I'm not saying anything like that with Nunez, but maybe there is other things going on. Like maybe he's not settled with the language in the country. Maybe there's other things that have gone on. Like, I don't know. But yeah.
I think you've also seen, the news about Suarez and how he left, and also, the stuff that Genie Ronaldo came out with when he left, and Bobby as well. So, and Milner. So there's a lot of stuff, from former players that come out. I think it's refreshing that they're honest and straight up, but I kind of wish that they were honest and straight up about the club and about, their feelings when they were playing. But that's neither here nor there. I can understand why they wouldn't.
Well, yeah, they probably get fined.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Rick, again, do people on here think that there is a risk of selling Cody just to buy number 9?
Absolutely.
Won't rule it out. I mean, out of the forward line, I think he's probably next to Salah as ones that I'd think will probably most likely stay. But I think above him going, I'd see Diaz, Chiesa, Nunez, Jota going, and then it'd probably be Gakpo. But he has been linked a hell of a lot with Bayern Munich. And apparently his agents have spoke to the Bayern Munich or whatever. But they've also been linked with Diaz, and everyone knows they're after like a left winger. So I'd be sad to see Gakpo go. I think he's a better player than Diaz all round. Like, I know Diaz probably can do things that Gakpo can't do, but how many times have we seen Gakpo with the ball being able to do something in the final third? It would be a goal or an assist, whereas Diaz gets the ball in the final third and, 7 or 8 times out of 10, he loses it. So, yeah. Scott says there's some reason no one is being linked with Osherman. Has to be, mate. And then JT says we could spend another 200 million and still be within the PSI. He's read somewhere. That'd be interesting.
If that's the case, and taking aside the selling of players and what we gain from that, I think it's imperative to have a number 9, and equally as important to get the centre back position and sorted out, because when Quansah is gone, then we are left with Konate. Who's going to replace, Virgil if he's injured? Who's going to replace Konate? And Konate's head is elsewhere. I mean, he's already rejected a contract, which I'm sure we'll talk about later on. But we really need to focus on that. And it's kind of diverted the attention away from defensive midfielder as well.
Well, there was something about a defensive midfielder earlier on where it was saying, it's in the article. I've read this one bit from the article, so we'll go over that in a minute. Jen says she can't see Cody leaving, more likely Diaz. Rick says that he loves Cody, man crush level, and he'd be gutted if he went.
Yeah, I mean, I'd hate to see Gakpo leaving. I think he's had a phenomenal season last season. And, there was a time where Diaz and Cody were really fighting for that left-hand side. And I think Cody, in the end, won it, And I think if anyone was to go, it'd be Diaz. But then again, you've got to look at possibly having a backup for him.
Yeah, I mean, that's maybe where that kid like Malik Fofana came in.
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe. Scott said he'd like to keep Gakpo and Diaz, but move on Nunez, Chiesa, and Jota, then bring in whoever Slot wants up front. Yeah, I mean, that Barcelona move seems to have died a death, doesn't it? With him going to Barca, but I just think potentially, where else could he go? Bayern Munich? I don't know. Depends if he's desperate to move on. And I mean, Liverpool have said they're not going to give him a new deal. He's on like 50 grand a week, which I know for us is like fucking hell. Like, I'd take that. But he's in a team where he's surrounded by players that are on over triple that. So I don't know. Bond says, because Konate rejected a contract, does that mean his head is elsewhere? Everywhere, sorry. Elsewhere, I mean, it means to say. He's trying to get the best contract for himself. Yeah, could be behind that as well, mate. I guess it just doesn't help with his... I know Konate has come out as well today and said everything you've seen on social media is a lie, which is obviously maybe going on about like the Real Madrid stuff, but it doesn't help situations, does it? You know, when you're seeing Real Madrid propaganda saying that they're good to go for Konate, get him on a free, blah, 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 whatever.
I think what I meant by that, Bono, I think you may have misunderstood me, is that when you're linked with the team and you're talking about contracts and you know you're rejecting it, this, that, and the other, and then you're still expected to play for the club, I think that's a little distracting. I think it was partially to blame, you know, for Trent not playing all that well. His head was elsewhere, and there was no sign of him, you know, signing a contract because he'd already made up his mind. I don't know whether Konate has made up his mind. Okay, he's on 70,000. Is he worth 200,000? Hard to know.
It's just been going during the rounds, mate. I don't know. I can't remember who reported it. It was not like Ornstein or anyone like that, but it's just been doing the rounds. What we'll do now then is we'll go through this question and answer from Lewis Steele. I can't show you it, guys, because obviously it's behind the paywall, but I'll read out most of it to you so you understand what it's all about. But basically, it's 10 questions from the fans that Lewis Steele is answering. So it ties into this. So the first question he's got is, Konate, has he stalled on contract talks, and do you see him extending? Lewis Steele's answer to this is, I don't think it's fresh news that Konate's contract is an issue, that this is leaving Liverpool in a tricky position. But at this stage, there are no huge concerns at the club's end. Talks began in late 24, and reports at the time saying a deal was close were puzzling, as no significant progress had been made yet. It is clear that the two parties' desires are slightly misaligned, but that does not mean an agreement will not be found. Real Madrid's interest is real, though, and PSG have also been mooted. But remember, the Bournemouth defensive pair in Dean Huijsen and Zabania are both heading to those clubs. A lot will rest on whether Konate wants to stay or not, and that is not really clear at this stage. Talking to him in the mix zone last month, the Frenchman spoke about his love for Liverpool, which gave some confidence that he is keen to extend. But this is an issue that won't go away just yet, so let's just wait and see what happens over the next few months. What are your thoughts on that, mate?
I mean, he's kind of stated the obvious, but I mean, you know, this seems to be a common trend that the tapping of players just seems to be a regular occurrence, and not much has been done to monitor this and make sure that it doesn't happen. But I mean, by all sounds of it, it sounds like, you know, he's not interested in a contract. I don't think Liverpool are going to be offering him 200,000. I think they may offer him 120, but I can't see him accepting that if he's looking for 200. Mm-hmm. So if Scott reckons, or he's still confident that he'll extend. Yeah, but I mean, are we going to take that risk? I just don't know. We can't afford to lose a player on the free again. We really can't.
No, I get that, mate.
It's just a very difficult situation. It really is.
Yeah, I'll continue. Make sure you're hitting that like button, guys. There's still over 200 people watching over on X. So the next one is, I get the feeling it's more on Alexander Isak as to whether we go for Hugo Ekitike. If he doesn't sign this season, could he give us his word and join us next season? And Liverpool abstain from signing a forward this season, in your opinion? So that's the question. The answer is, what I was told last week was if Isak could move to Liverpool, he would. Easier said than done, though. So Isak to Liverpool, probable? No. But is it possible? Yes. It is not one to It is not one to completely rule out just yet, but there is a strong feeling in the industry that next month of the window will be more about balancing the books with sales. Without them, there's no chance they can afford a mega money striker. Newcastle are quoting 200 million, and to be honest, that is far too much for him. But the fact they're talking about money must mean they are slightly worried, and his long-term future in terms of a new contract remains uncertain at St. James's Park. Ekitike is certainly one they like, but nothing is advanced with him. The likes of Šeško and Kerkez are on the move elsewhere, and I don't think either of them fit the bill for Liverpool. As to the second part of your question, it is interesting theory, but being brutally honest, I don't think either of Liverpool's number 9, Nunez or Jota, are good enough now. So next summer could be a big one too. But I know one thing: Liverpool's hierarchy have discussed is the fact is that there's no great market for the complete number 9. Hence why I wrote the other day that they have considered signing a versatile forward rather than shopping for a mythical player that is not available. I think that goes along somewhat like Scott said earlier as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, no surprises there really. I kind of agree with him, to be fair. I agree.
Yeah, I agree as well. I think he hit the nail on the head, to be honest with you. One thing that I find funny is the balancing of the books. And while I agree that you've got to do that, there's going to be some egg left on Mr. Pearce's face. I think he, prematurely came out with what he came out with. Anyway, enough about him. But I think that was very honest of Steele to come out with that. I don't think I think he's fairly on the point. There isn't really an out and out number 9, and I think if we get something like Bobby Firmino, I think we'll be very happy. I also think Scott says Pierce versus Sean round 2. I think it's about round 4 or 5, to be honest with you. But there you go. I think they probably might play Wirtz as a false 9. That's my opinion.
I won't be surprised if that's how we start pre-season.
Yeah,
I think they're back anyway soon, aren't they? I think they're back next week or week after. It's not that long now where they're actually back from the holidays and stuff. So
let me just check that.
I'll continue with the next one. So he basically asked again about Ben Doak. He fits the versatility of a young 6th choice forward. Is his future going to be at Liverpool or is it going to be elsewhere? Steele says that he loves to watch Doak. He's direct, fast and fearless, but maybe he needs to improve his end product. But he is still just 19 and there are worries about his injury record. There are 3 options for Liverpool right now. Loan him out to the Championship or a bottom half Premier League again, where he will, all being well with fitness, play 35 or so games in a competitive league. Sell him to generate funds, or you make him the 6th choice forward. Personally, I would loan him out unless a huge bid comes in with a buyback clause. Everton, Palace and Bournemouth have kept tabs on him, but neither have been willing to cough up the 25 million plus Liverpool would want for Doak.
I think we should keep Doak. Just in answering your question, the preseason starts July 13th.
It's not far then.
No, not far at all.
Is that the first game? Sorry, or
that's the first game. Yeah.
All right. Yes, yeah, so they'll probably be back then. Before that, they'll probably be doing tests and that, like around about the 8th or the 10th or something. I would presume. I don't know. Yeah. So look at some of these comments. JT says, supposedly Konate's contract offer was made up of a lowerish basic salary and appearance fees. Yeah, I think I read that as well, which made it more hefty, which he wasn't keen on, but who knows? Hopefully it's sorted as soon as possible. He's also said, or his agent wasn't keen on it, should I say? Maybe, mate. Yeah. Maybe, mate. But yeah, I read that as well, to be fair, that they kind of offered him a little bit less. I don't know, mate. We'll have to wait and see what we like. I don't think he's worth. Do you know what? I hate kind of talking about stuff like that. Where I'm saying, I don't think he's worth this. Like, it's not even my money, so I don't really give a shit. But you know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, what player can you say is worth the ludicrous amount of money that?
Yeah,
is now?
I mean, it's a shame we don't have anything like they do in the NFL right now. Like, like where someone's contract's coming up in the NFL. And depending on how they've performed, you can compare him with the other players in the league that are on that money and, same performance level. So it's kind of like, it seems a bit harder to do that, doesn't it? With like Premier League players, stuff like that. Like, so, you've probably got players over at Man United that are on fucking 300 grand a week and they've done nothing. and you've got Konate at Liverpool that's won 2 Premier League titles and he's on what like 100 grand a week or something. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
Do you know what though? I mean, I love the fact that United have like these players, these divas that will throw them under the bus time in, time out, and they're on ludicrous amount of money, ludicrous contracts. And who's a Garnacho wearing a Rashford number 9 jersey? Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Oh man.
Next one is, what are the realistic plans for Rio Ugmaha, Trey Nione, and James McConnell this season? Good question. From what I've heard, Slot is a huge fan of McConnell. He has told him as much, and in a meeting in early 2025, McConnell was told he could be on par with Endo in terms of a squad role in the next year. So that may be where Endo moves on. That's who could step into his shoes. Saying that though, maybe a loan is best for him this coming season, and there's a long list of clubs monitoring his situation despite a recent injury. He thinks he'll get a chance in pre-season to impress. As for Rio and Nione, they will hope to continue training with the first team while playing regularly for the under-21s in the youth league of UEFA. Slot likes them both though, clearly, so maybe some minutes in the cup competitions this season, which I don't think is a bad shout, to be fair.
That Rio fella, isn't he the guy from Chelsea?
Yeah.
He's a good player. He is. I've seen him. He looks to be a bit of a baller there. So I think we need to nurture him as much as possible and be careful with him, not to throw him in the deep end, and just keep at him and hopefully get the best out of him. But definitely a keeper.
Yeah. Next one is about Malik Fofana, and if he's heard anything about him. He basically said that it's a name that's been sent to him every day by fans. He thinks he's on the radar, but nothing more than that. Could change, of course it could. So there's nothing really to go into that with that one. Next one's asking about how fast will Liverpool move for a centre-back, and he says that with Kwanzaa moving to Leverkusen, I think this one could move on in the next week or so. Liverpool's main desire, as reported last week, is a young prospect who can eventually grow into a Virgil van Dijk replacement. He's mentioned Joel Hatto at Ajax as one they like, and that is certainly the case after they missed out on Lenny Yoro and Dean Huijsen. As well as this desire for a youthful face, they will keep abreast of market opportunities, which brings us on to our next question, which is, do you think Liverpool will make a move for Mark Gahey? And also, what do you think the future holds for Stefan Bajcetic? And he says, Gahey represents an opportunity for Liverpool. He's still young, has lots of Premier League experience, and he would be good for the homegrown quarter. A lot of their pursuit of the Palace captain rests on the price that they'd want. There is talk that Liverpool would try to lowball them at 30 million, whereas Palace would demand around 50. So maybe realistically, and reading between the lines, 40 million could be the sort of figure that they would shake hands on. Easier said than done, though, of course, but these things are true. Liverpool like Gahey. Gahey likes the idea of playing for Liverpool. Gahey will almost certainly leave Palace this summer. If the interest turns serious, then this one could definitely happen. As for Bajcetic, there's interest in him from Europe. The last time he checked, Liverpool were keen to have a look at him in pre-season and make a decision there. But I do think there is a first-team place available for a deep-line midfielder, then Bajcetic could be the one to fill it. After all, Liverpool have not had the luck this year with injuries in that department, with Gravenberch and McAllister barely missing a game. So, yeah. What do you think about that one?
Well, first of all, Rick Roach, thanks for joining in.
Oh yeah, see you later, mate.
I'm after totally losing the train of thought there.
Nice, fine, man. Don't worry about it. Maguire and De Ligt are both on over 200k. Imran says, I don't see Konate signing a new deal. It's obvious Liverpool don't want to pay as he's already 27. Liverpool should get Gahey and look for a younger left-sided centre back to come in and fill for Van Dijk. Yeah. They're both on the same averts.
Yeah.
And then Imran says, I also don't think Liverpool will sign a striker this window. They will stick with Jota and Diaz being as a 9. Not a bad shout, mate. I'll have to wait and see, mate.
Yeah.
Not a bad shout at all.
I think, I mean, Gahey, how much are they looking for Gahey?
He said 50, Liverpool going to offer 30, so he reckons about 40 would get the deal done.
I think we should go for it. I mean, he would class as a homegrown, wouldn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think we should go for it. No faffing about, just get it done. That's what I think. I think it's so important to have your defensive lineup and backup for it, because Konate, as Imran said, and welcome to the channel, Imran. Like if Konate's 27, is he going to get the money that he's looking for? I don't think so. So, if he goes, we need to look at bringing in at least 3 centre backs.
Mm-hmm.
So if we brought in Hasso and Gahey, I'd be happy with that. Or Inacio and Gahey, I'd be happy with that. Inacio can also play on the left side of central midfield. I don't know how much Inacio would be. I think he might be cheaper than Gahey. I'm not too sure.
No, I think Inacio's buyout clause is about 52, I think, something like that. I think. I might be wrong there. Could be completely not wrong, but I think that's the last time I remember seeing it. Just a couple more to go through now, guys. So the next one is about Andy Robertson and what's the latest on that. And he says that Atletico Madrid remain confident on being able to tempt him to join them. But the latest is pretty much the same as last week. Robertson has not made his mind up yet. He's on a break at the moment and has a lot to ponder. By the end of next week, we will have some clarity. If Robertson leaves, will Tsimikas stay? What about the left-backs, Owen Beck and Luke Chambers? I think he has to, unless they press forward with their interest in Hato, who can play at centre-back or left-back. Beck has a lot of clubs interested in him, including Wrexham, Sheffield United, Rangers, Celtic, and plenty more in the Premier League. Due to the amount of clubs to post their keenness, Liverpool are in no rush to sanction a move, a loan, or a permanent one. Luke Chambers nearly moved to Hull in January, actually, but returned to Wigan, where he did really well. Conor Bradley and Joel Kwanzaa, of course, have stepped up from League One loans to the first team, so there's no ruling out that happening. But another loan seems to be the best bet for Chambers, who had an injury-hit season last year. So, again, probably nothing new in that, in all fairness. But, again, he does leave open that door, doesn't he, that we could see Robbo and Tsimikas both leaving this window, which I won't be surprised at all. I really wouldn't.
I think what you said makes a lot of sense, but I think if we bring a centre back also that can play at left back, I think that's only improving our options. I'd hate to see Robbo go. He's been a fantastic servant of the club. To go from Hull to Liverpool and have, a lot of fans have had low expectations at the start, and for him to hit the ground running and have this kind of competition between him and Trent as to the amount of assists they'd get, I think that only shows, testament to what type of player he is and was. And I think he was influential in us winning the league in 2019-20. So amazing player. So I'd be sorry to see him go.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I wonder if we'd see something very... Oh, shit. Oops.
So Adam is no longer with us. So it is the Sean Show. Hello, Eddie Cox Wilkins. Jesse says, actually, Liverpool can get good money for Konate sale, then use that or part of it to buy a new centre. Crystal Palace will reduce the asking price for Gahey. Imran says, we know Liverpool won't keep 3 left backs. One has to go with Atletico Madrid sniffing around. He's more likely to leave with a year left. Jesse says, welcome Jesse to the to AKMLFC, by the way. Imran said you can't chase more than one major trophy with just two left or centre backs. Absolutely, totally agree. Now that Virgil van Dijk is older. 72, the bird, what's with the chewing? Well, I have chewing gum in my mouth. Does that bother you? So, that's a first.
So right, move on to the last one, mate.
Okay.
Sorry, mate. So the last one is basically how many players do you expect Liverpool to target to bring in? And he says that he said in March that he expects 4 or 5 first-team signings this summer. He'll stick with that. There's 3 in the door. I'd imagine they'll now go for 2 more, a centre-back and a forward. Anything else depends on outgoings with more than 200 million spent. If you count in Mamadashvili, they may have to be careful with profit and sustainability concerns. Obviously, aside from those positions mentioned, Liverpool always are on top of the academy recruitment and market opportunities for young stars. So let's keep our eyes peeled for those sort of buys. And that's the end of it. Anything you want to mention off the back of that?
I mean, I think he was very honest, to be honest with you, and I think that's refreshing if I'm honest. And it's good to have refreshingly good and honest journalism, as only it should be. So I think he answered those questions. He gave fairly good answers to them. I don't disagree with anything that he's saying. I think obviously it does depend on the outgoings. Obviously you have to be careful of PSR. I wouldn't expect it any other way. The only thing that I'm worried about and I'm concerned is that we don't have enough backup, and that we leave some of the positions that we have short and without competition. So I would agree completely with who was it? With Jesse. You can't chase more than one major trophy with just 2 centre backs, especially now that Virgil van Dijk is older. That's a very good comment to make. Scott says honesty is the best policy. That's why people subscribe to AKMLFC. And if you want to know what AKM stands for, it's Adam Knows More. But the truth be told, Sean does too.
I've just found the article that JT was on about earlier about Liverpool could spend another 200 million in this market, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have a quick read of it now. See if there's anything in it. It is from the Echo, from Dave Powell, the chief business of football writer.
Oh, him.
He basically says, let me see if I can just find out a bit more. Liverpool's aggressive spending so far in the window has seen some questions raised about just how the Reds are available to afford all of this, especially if they follow upon the interests of Gahey and Isaac. The reason is very simple. Liverpool can do more because they earn more, and they've managed their finances better than most in recent years in terms of giving themselves the financial ability to be able to impact their business. Okay, let's go into this a bit more then. Liverpool's financial year came to an end on the 31st of May, and it was a season when they only added Chiesa for 10 million. Liverpool's stood... What's that? I don't know what the fuck that word says. Whatever. What does that mean? What does that mean? That's going to just...
Do you want to type it into the private chat and I'll look it up?
Yeah, there you go. I'll ask ChatGPT as well while I'm at it.
Fuck me. Hold on a second. I need to look that up. I actually don't even know what that is. Hold on a second.
All right. Okay. So it means gradually paying off debt and spreading out the cost of an asset over time. But that's what it means, basically, guys. It stood at 114.5 million. But even with the added Chiesa impact, the sales of players who held book value and the annual decline in the book value on some squad members means that the actual cost will have likely have fallen for last year's financial year. It was a financial year where Liverpool were back in the Champions League, bringing in more than 85 million. Adding to the fact they won the Premier League, which would have given them another 185 million. The wage bill will have gone up due to new deals and bonus payments for the Premier League success, and they could soon breach the 400 million mark for wages. Only City and Arsenal could have made the Vert deal work this summer when it comes to the Premier League, taking into account PSR. The 24-25 period is likely to see Liverpool swim back to profit with revenues almost certainly above 700 million. The club's profit could reach 50 million according to some estimates, factoring in such a profit into the 3-year cycle. Assuming similar allowable deductions would see the net positive PSR position grow even further, up to some 100 million, before taking into account the 105 million permitted. This is fucking mad, is this? This goes on even further. If you factor in the sales of Kelleher, Kwanzaa, that puts the pure profit up to 48 million. Then you factor in Nunez and a potential exit, which would likely net the club a small profit. Right, okay. So apparently on the books, Nunez is only valued at 21.2 million because of how much time he's spent at the club already and how much time's left on his contract. So if Liverpool were to net 40 million, 45 million for him, they'd make a 20 million pound profit on him.
And you know, we were running with the Saudis interested in spending 60 million on Nunez January. Just to go through the comments, Scott says, I've just been reading that, don't know how credible it is, to be honest. David Powell does the circuit quite a lot, and he just let it be known that he's not a Liverpool supporter, so he doesn't have a dog in the race. Imran says 200 million, laughing my ass off. It's FSG, mate. Does he know who I am? Jesse, even the dogs are growling at that. Jesse says that's true. Liverpool have been with a very good net spend. Look, you know, as long as we bring in the players that we need and we have a good backup, I don't really care about the net spend. So that dispels anything that has been said by the regulars, let's say. Imran says, if Nunez is sold to Napoli with De Gea in the team as well, he's about to hit 20 plus goals in Serie A. I think we were saying that.
I agree. Wouldn't be surprised.
Wouldn't we just be kicking ourselves?
Bond says we could get 60 million for Nunez. Watch and see. If we do that, that's a 40 million profit, according to the article.
So I mean, that's obviously good news. I don't know how credible David Powell is anymore, but if that's the case, you know, we could spend 200 million is what they're saying.
Yeah,
another
200 million on top. Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see, mate, won't we? I'll have a quick refresh, see if there's anything else that's.
While you're doing that, I would just be careful that, you know, if you're bringing in a striker, you need to get the centre backs. That's the most important, I think. To me, I can't see us keeping on to Gomez, so I think it's and plus he's injury prone. Just while Adam is doing that, just a reminder of our VIP membership, $199 to $299 per month. Sure, you wouldn't even get a cup of tea for that. But what our VIP members can get out of that is there is a monthly draw at the start of each month where you can be in with an opportunity of winning a t-shirt of your choice, courtesy of number 19 apparelco.com. This is one of the t-shirts that I got years ago off them. And thank you, number 19 apparelco.com. Check them up on all their social media.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Gomez has said that he's staying. He has indeed. Just one more thing, I guess, then, guys, before we call an end to the show. 25 minutes ago, the plane that brought Kerkez in to Liverpool has now left, and it's going back to Belgrade, in Hungary. So yeah, it's all done. Just waiting for the announcement basically to happen now. Let's wait and see what happens. If Liverpool take too long, maybe Kerkez's dad will do it for him.
Good. Deal is done, but I couldn't care less. Ekatika is heading to Man United. Can't see Liverpool going in for him. If anyone is stupid enough to fall or to jump onto that sinking ship.
Who's left? Isaac is overpriced. Yeah, man. I think if you can get Isaac for 120, 125 million, I think I'd be happy with that. To be fair, 150, 200 million, no chance. But yeah, I reckon if you pay a little bit more than what you paid for Wirtz, I'd be happy with that. But yeah, right then, that'll be the end of the show then, mate. We've got any more? So Jesse says here, FTK can't go to United when they're failing to pay 60 million for Mbeumo. Exactly, mate. Exactly.
Jesse's coming up with some great comments there. So welcome, Jesse, to the channel.
Yeah, man. Come back tomorrow, Jesse. Come back tomorrow if we do another live, pal. Make sure you hit that notification bell and stuff. Imran says one player that has always been in his mind is Lautaro Martinez of Inter Milan. To be fair, I think I'm still surprised he's at Inter Milan, not being snapped up by somebody else. I don't know what's gone on there, but maybe he just prefers it there. And then Liverpool 67 says those days are gone that players choose to stay or go. I think they've been gone for a while, mate, to be fair. And cheers from JT. Right then, guys. Thanks for watching. If anything does happen, we'll be back again tomorrow with the transfer show. See what happens with anything worth talking about. The Kerkez stuff I expect is imminent. It could drop at any second. We'll just keep your eyes and ears open. As I said, the plane that brought him to Liverpool has now left and gone back to Belgrade. So he's done all his media stuff. He's had his medical. It's all signed, sealed and done. So it's just a case of now the announcement. So let's wait and see when that happens. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you check out Number 19 Apparel Co., the partner of the channel. And yeah, we'll be probably see you tomorrow at some point, guys. Catch you in the next one, guys.